Hello, it's time for another Gita video. Today we're looking at Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verses 40 to 42, which are the last verses in this chapter. And it goes, "For a fool who rebukes this path with no dedication, or one who is filled with doubts and cannot trust, it will be very difficult for him to find happiness in this world or the other. One who renounces lust of result through yoga will cut down his doubts with the sword of awareness. When you are centered in your soul, your actions will never bind you, O conqueror. Thus, cut off your doubts with the weapon of the soul. They are born of ignorance and cover your heart. Centered in yoga, scion of Bharata, stand and fight." So, what do these verses mean with regards to doubt and with regards to conquering doubt? A lot of people would argue that doubt can be a useful thing. So, first of all, let's remember the context of this story, of what's being told here. And in that context, the doubts that are being talked about are Arjuna's doubts. The whole Gita is a conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. Arjuna the prince, who's been called on to go and fight in this terrible civil war that he knows correctly is going to destroy, it's going to devastate his entire world. Everybody he knows is going to die. Everything that existed before is going to be laid waste. And the people he's fighting are his own cousins. So he finds himself reluctant. He finds himself filled with doubt as to what to do. He knows that his cousins are evil, not just evil, but they represent a type of nihilism, a type of this type of relativism that means that nothing is of value, that would tear apart all of the very foundations of society. Krishna repeats that repeats that to him in chapter 1. So he knows that if he doesn't fight, then everything will fall apart anyways, right? And if he does fight, he knows that there's a very good chance, at least, that it's going to be devastation and destruction. He's not so worried about his death, but he's worried about having to kill, for example, his teacher, the person who taught him everything he knew. His Obi-Wan Kenobi is fighting on the other side, right? And he's going to have to kill him. So Arjuna is filled with these sorts of doubts. And those are the doubts that are being referred to here, which is the doubt of Arjuna's will. Is it his will to go forth and fight? So this doesn't mean the way that it has been interpreted sometimes over time by people with, I think, bad intentions, which is that you just shouldn't doubt anything. You shouldn't doubt the holy books. You shouldn't doubt the guru. You shouldn't doubt what the guru is doing. You shouldn't doubt, what your religion teacher taught you. You shouldn't doubt anything at all, right? That's a very kind of the kind of view of mainstream religion, which says that there's faith on this side, there's doubt on this side, and any kind of questioning, that's doubt and that's wrong, right? And just blind faith is the way to go. But that isn't, to me, what this is talking about. Because in the first place, the line 40 says, "For a fool who rebukes this path," right? Well, the path that's being talked about here is the path of awareness, right? In the last verse before that, it says, "A dedicated man will gain awareness. He will be drawn to it and focus his senses on it. Having gained awareness in his in his senses, he very soon gains a deeper spiritual peace. So it's about self-transformation. The doubt that's being expressed here is not doubt in what someone else has taught you, which is a perfectly healthy thing to have, right? It's doubt in yourself. It's the doubt about what is really true within you. It's the inability to see that fire of truth within you. So the cure to that doubt is to renounce lust of result, because the thing that makes you unable to see what is the truth within you is lust of result. Lust of result doesn't just mean things you want. It doesn't mean necessarily carnal lust or something like that. It means that you want the world to be a certain way, that you have a projection of how you imagine things should be, how they should be now, and how they ought to become later, and that's the only thing you're going to accept from the world, right? So you're trying to impose your ideas on the world. And the result of that, and on yourself, you have a vision of how you yourself should be, right? So you impose that vision on yourself. The result is that you're not seeing what is real. You're seeing that fantasy you want to create. You're creating a reality bubble around you that all it does is allow you to live in a kind of fantasy. But that fantasy inevitably falls apart. It inevitably gets broken. But if you can renounce that lust of result, you can say, instead of saying, the world has to be like this, it has to work this way, you say that you're going to simply observe and see what the world really is like. What is its true nature? What is your true nature? What are you really like, instead of assuming what you must be like? Then that awareness cuts out that darkness like a sword, right? When you are centered in your soul, your actions will never bind you. Actions binding you is karma, right? If you are centered within yourself, if you're in a state of awareness, if you're showing up, then you don't suffer the karma of your ignorance, because you've destroyed your ignorance, right? You've overcome it. These are the doubts that you are meant to overcome. I've often said that people in the spiritual world, people have a tendency to absolutely believe what somebody else tells them and never actually trust what they themselves experience, when it should be the other way around. You know, you should doubt what other people tell you. You should trust what you experience, right? Your own doubts are a product of your darkness, because you are separated from the experience of what is real. You're separated from the reality of your being and of the world around you by these fantasies that you've created and that other people have fed into you, but it's your responsibility, right? The thing that cuts through all doubt is not blind faith. It's not to say, okay, yes, I'll believe in the guru, I'll believe in God, I'll believe in Krishna, I'll believe in all this, and that's all I'll do. That's all I need to do. The thing that breaks through doubt is the experience of genuine awareness. It's the experience of the real. As soon as you have actually experienced something, there is no doubt, right? If you're in a room with no windows, you might believe that outside it's sunny or that outside it's raining, right? You have no evidence to prove it one way or the other. You can believe whatever you want. You can doubt as much as you want. As soon as you open that door and see whether it's raining or it's sunny, then you no longer need to doubt. There's no room for doubt possible, because you're literally experiencing rain in front of you, right? Or sunshine. And you no longer need to believe, because belief is about having faith in something that you don't know is true, that you hope is true. You suspect probably it isn't, because if you didn't suspect it isn't, you wouldn't just be believing. You'd be doing something about it, right? So don't just believe. You have to do something about it. Step out of that door. Experience the real. That is the blade of your soul. That is awareness. If you do that, then you can see what is true. That's everything for today. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, and if you like the Gita videos, subscribe to the Gita playlist. Be sure to check out